Greetings. Good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly Lunch and Learn.
In terms of business, if you have a dream, go for it. Pursue it. Work hard at it, because with anything that you want to do, it's going to come hard work. If you don't put the hard work, you don't put the time into it, it's not going to flourish the way you want to.
Maybe advice for anybody who's looking to start a business, like, just do it. Start off small and then kind of expand. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but like once you're in it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this long time ago?
Love you. Tell yourself, I love me too. I love you, Omena. Love you. When you open your heart and your mind, you're opening up to your blessing.
Yeah.
Family, happy. Oh, was I just muted? Greetings, and good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly edition of our Lunch and Learn. First off, let me say happy Thursday and happy holidays. And it's such a pleasure to be back here with you guys this week. I want to say thank you to Athenia for holding down the fort for me last week while I took care of some personal business. I hope you all had an amazing Christmas. I had a nice, peaceful one here in Georgia, and it was a really good one. So for today's Lunch and Learn, we have one of our Juneteenth board members, my sister, someone that I admire and am honored to be here with today, Miss TrudyAnn Williams, the founder and CEO of Destiny Helpers Outreach Incorporated. Welcome up, TrudyAnn. Hey, Trudy.
Hello, how are you doing today, Jamie? Thank you for having me.
I'm so good. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing your face and feeling your energy since we were together last on Juneteenth. And that's always such an amazing experience, and just always so honored to be in the space with you. So I know we're here to talk about some good stuff today. We're talking about merging beauty. So listen, y'all, I'm going to let y'all know, to help my anxiety and to help me balance myself out and keep myself grounded, please bear with me and my little baby. We got some landscapers outside and he's going a little crazy. So just bear with us here. Pray for me. So back to Trudy. If I'm correct, I believe that I want to start, because of the way that it's laid out, the beauty, the brains, and the philanthropy. Let's start at the beauty. If I'm correct, I believe that I first initially met you in Juneteenth. You were helping us with the pageant that we were trying to plan, right? If I'm correct?
Yes.
And that you have a background in pageantry. Am I correct? Could you tell us a little bit about that and tell us what merging beauty means to you? Okay. And then we'll get to merging all three of them, but just what beauty means to you.
Okay, not a problem, Jamie. And it's okay working from home, being virtual. This is the nature of things that happen, right? But just to talk about the beauty aspect of things, when I speak of beauty, I'm not talking about just a physical beauty. I'm talking about a beauty that radiates from within, or non-tangibles, or character, or integrity, how we show up, or self-esteem, or confidence. I'm talking a beauty that is rooted in self-worth and self-confidence, right? Because if we see ourselves as valuable, and if we have that confidence and we show up in that way, then we are radiating something that is magical, something that, it exudes light, it exudes humility and grace. And that's the kind of beauty that I'm talking about. The beauty that when you step into a room, you command the room, not because of anything that you have said, but just because of the presence. Your presence brings light and life. And anywhere you go, that's what you take with you, light and life. And sometimes that's not something that women or young women readily have. So the pageant that we're going to speak about later, what we're trying to do is to build that up within them so that they can create a positive self-image. So that's what I talk about when I talk about beauty. It being physically beautiful, it's really great, but you have to work on the non-tangible, the things that we can't see, so that when you show up, you're showing up as your best self.
I love that. What comes up for me in just thinking about that way of being and moving with energy and light, and thinking about when you enter spaces, it also kind of takes me to that place of intention and like walking with intentionality and operating from a heartfelt space. And that when you're operating from that space, kind of all of the other stuff can melt away in the space, and you can actually shift and change people's experiences, and what they actually came to get could turn into something else. And I could think back to so many times that I've entered somewhere just being open,
Yes.
not having any expectation or any attachment to like what I'm expecting or how I want it to turn out or what I want to get out of it. And whenever I do move into spaces, it's kind of like almost the other end of that scope. It's like walking blindly, like
Yeah.
not even caring about the beauty. And in that, there's a beauty, because sometimes like you just never know what's going to come out of something.
Yeah, and one of the things that well, I would love to share with young women and just people in general, because not women alone or young women need to hear this. Everyone needs to hear this. Like, you have to understand that where you are from, it tells me nothing about who you are as a person. So, not because the stereotype that is associated with your community says it's full of criminals and illegal activity and everything negative means that that's who you are. You don't want to take on the identity of where you're from, because where you're from does not define who you are, right? And so, we want people to know that you have to see yourself as something great. You have to like feed yourself that. And that's why affirmations and speaking over yourself positively is so important, because what you feed into your spirit is what you become. Because then your mind, you have to trigger your mind to start thinking these things. And once you start thinking it, before you know it, your body starts to move on that. And when you start to move in that way, it becomes like second nature. Like, it doesn't matter what you wear, it doesn't matter where you go, you'll have that confidence. You'll be confident in who you are. So never judge yourself or think yourself less than because of the color of your skin or the community that you're from. You are just as valuable, you're just as important, and you serve a powerful purpose here on earth. It's just to tap into that.
Ashe, I love everything you said. And before we move on, I just want to acknowledge that we have Maylene is here with us this afternoon. Thank you for dropping
Oh,
in, sir. And she stated that beauty is emotional. It allows us to experience ourselves and how divinely we are made. Ashe,
yeah.
Ashe. I love that. And let's see. All right. All right. And Keisha said she needed this. She felt motivated to work on herself with what you said. And Maylene says this is the mindset we need to pass on to our children so they grow up with the power of acknowledging our beauty. I
Thank you
love
so
that.
much. Yes.
I love that. So now, kind of wanting to go on to the brains portion. What exactly does that mean to you, and how does that show up for Destiny's Helpers Outreach?
Right. So when you hear brains, what we're focusing on here is education, because it is my personal belief that education is a tool that is vital to us having upward social mobility. And when I speak of education, I'm not just talking about a conventional education. Understanding basic math and English and getting your GED and having all those accreditations and all those accolades, it's great. But you also need to be educated about life, about your body, about your environment, about how your existence in society affects the entire ecosystem, right? Because believe it or not, we all have to coexist in the world. And if we're going to live harmoniously, if we're going to exist and be fruitful and be productive, then we have to understand how the unconventional and the conventional education works. So when you talk about unconventional, we're talking about financial literacy, we're talking about skills training, we're talking about teaching social and dining etiquette, we're talking about just building up the capacity of a person. We're talking about teaching how your anatomy works. We're talking about your body, understanding and being aware of how your body works and being okay with how your body works. Understanding that uniqueness about each of us and how it makes each of us so special and so integral in the lives and the people and the communities that we show up in. So that's what the brains is a part of, because whilst we're talking about beauty, if you're not educated, if you don't have knowledge, knowledge by itself is not power. You have to have the wisdom to apply that knowledge. And so that's where the brains come in. It's educating you so that you have the knowledge, but bring it a step further to say, now you have the knowledge, how are you going to use this to make society a better place? So that's what the brains part is about.
Absolutely love that. What I'm starting to see is a picture of once a young lady has completed the program at Destiny's Outreach, what they're looking like as a woman in the world and as a solid individual, nicely well rounded. So, with that being said, let's move on to the philanthropy part and share how that creates the trifecta for you and your and the formula that you've created.
Okay, so we have this notion that once we get an education, once we get our degrees, once we get a great job, we want to leave our community, right? We want to leave and we want to go into a more affluent space, an affluent community. But the reality is not, there's not enough homes in the affluent community. So rather than taking or having your community experience a brain drain, since you have been equipped, since you have gone through all the necessary things that you need to go through, why don't you stay where you are and create the community, create the environment that you want to see, create that safe space that you want to live, work, and raise your families? How do we do this? By giving back through philanthropy, through volunteerism, by investing money, by investing time, by investing whatever skills you have acquired to feed back into your own community, right? So that's where the philanthropy comes in. We want to emphasize the importance of pouring back into your very own community, pouring into the very people that you're surrounded by, pouring into your own. You don't need to take your resourceful self, you don't need to take your successful self away from where you are from, but you need to pour into that space, because as a people, right? And I'm going to refer to the Black people. As a people, we're always saying that we're not successful, we're not working together, we're not doing this, and we are giving more to other communities than we're keeping within our community. So this is one way to teach the girls, yes, you are from a Brownsville that has a problem with crime and violence and teenage pregnancy and poverty and all of this, but when you get the opportunity to go to a school and you get a formal education, and you're able to matriculate and go into tertiary education, and you get your degree, you get your master's, and you get an acquired skill, you open a business. It's not for you to aspire to say you're going to move away, but figure out how you can use what you have gained to change the rhetoric, to change the narrative about your community. See the people that are around you despite the dysfunction, see them as being able, as being capable of changing. It's just how, it's the how. It's engaging people in positive conversation. It's about not coming in because you are now educated and see yourself better to say, this is what they deserve. That's not what they deserve. Try to meet them where they are and say to them, how can I help you? I would love to help. You know, how can I help you? What would you like to see in your community, in our community? And because they've seen you grow up in the community, and they've seen you go to school, and they've seen you, it makes it easier for them to speak to you than when a stranger comes in and tries to do something.
You know what comes up for me, and what I would like to know how you would respond to this is that sometimes people are so willing to look at our glasses as half empty versus the half full. And a lot of times when you have a lot of community activism, you'll have people in a neighborhood trying to change, to shift, to do the work. And then, okay, so for instance, I'll use a living example that was coming up in my mind while you were speaking. And, you know, I just recently relocated down here to Georgia about a year ago. So you have Tyler that's come down here, put in the studios. When you have us, we come to our neighborhoods and put the businesses back in. Okay, so now you have the businesses there. That means that workers now have jobs, that the people from the community can come and work and build things for themselves, and whatever you offer them as their perks and pluses. Um, so there's always the group of people that are like, but then there's still crime, or there's the people that are still just not going to want us to get ahead in our own communities, our own folks. There's still crime. There's still this, because there are still levels of crimes in some of these areas that are going through gentrification here, just like we have back home. Same thing in the areas of Brooklyn and the Bronx that are being regentrified. Prices are sky high. Everything looks shiny and fancy in a neighborhood, but we still have the same experiences. What would be your offer to those folks? Because to me, I have it that if there are more people like what you're doing for the young ladies, if there are people that are doing more for the young men, if we're creating more and more and more of these programs, then the balance of what we're up to in our communities starts to tip the scale. And then we can tip in that direction of our healing our communities. And I mean, at the end of the day, we're human beings. And from the beginning of the Bible, there's been that balance of good and bad. So there's always going to be that. But that's my response to those people. What would your response be?
So, what you have to understand, Jamie, is that sometimes because these things are so deeply rooted in the community, it becomes the norm, and the people don't see that a problem exists because they've been able to live and operate despite all the dysfunction. So, that's the first thing. The problem may not be readily admitted that it exists, and so that's a problem in and of itself, because if you have a problem and you don't see it as a problem, then the person coming in to help you, their job is even harder because you don't think anything needs fixing, right? And then you also have to remember that, and this is why my slogan for my organization is changing lives one individual, one community at a time. The key is never think about quantity when you're doing community work, because if you're caught up with numbers, then you oftentimes get discouraged and you don't want to do the work. You have to believe that even if it is one person that showed up, that one person, remember, they are a part of a family, and there's a ripple effect that comes with that one person. So you may get one person, but if you can impart and really change that one person goes back into their home. Now, a family is being changed. And that family interacts with a school community, a job, and the wider society. And it happens over time. Never expect change to happen overnight. You have to look at it as, the small wins. You celebrate every small win. Every step in the right direction is going to one day surface as the big whole, right? So look at the little things as one day it's going to become the whole thing. So today I may be focusing on teenage pregnancy, right? And I'm saying, but still a lot of girls are getting pregnant. I Because of the work I'm doing, 10 girls did not join the statistic. 10 families did not become a part of that statistic, of that cycle. 10 families are seeing a pathway out of poverty. 10 families are experiencing something different from what is typical. It may sound small, but that 10 family, because of that 10 family, there's some change
Ashe,
happening.
Ashe. I love that you went there, and I love when the divine and the Most High is in this space leading our conversation. So my next question is, how is, you just mentioned that teenage pregnancy is one of the things that you battle through the work that you do, or that you're, addressing. So how is teenage pregnancy related to poverty?
So let's look at it, right? Things like crime and violence, gun violence, for example, it manifests itself and everybody sees that. But what are the underlying problems? Where does this stem from? Because a lot of money has been poured into gun violence. That's great, but that's not stopping crime from happening. We need to focus, and I call on the local elected officials. I call on the people who are in positions of power, who are pouring into programs, to rethink how you invest your money, because crime doesn't just happen. Something caused the individual to get to that point where they felt like they needed to commit a crime. So let's look at teenage pregnancy. And I'm speaking on teenage pregnancy only because I've done research on this. And the pageant that I do, it's directly geared to that issue, geared to targeting that issue. When I looked on Brownsville, I came here from Jamaica as an adult, and I lived in Brooklyn, and I went to church in Brownsville. And I noticed that there were a lot of teenage girls pushing strollers with babies. And where I'm from in Jamaica, Tivoli Gardens, that was something that I saw also on a regular basis. And I kept doing a comparative analysis of why? Why are the similarities there? And when you look at it, one of the things that you see is that girls are dropping out of high school because they're having babies. And because teenagers are having babies, which equates to children having children, children's minds are not even fully developed. So, how can they properly care for another life? But life happens, and now they have to try to adjust and try to be a caregiver, try to be a nurturer, try to be a provider, try to be everything for somebody else, another life. And if this teenage mom has a baby, and when that child becomes a teenager, they have a baby, now we have a cycle. And if we're not educated or have basic education, we cannot get even entry level jobs. If we're not able to get entry level jobs, then we're not even able to compete. We're not even able to properly provide for our children, for our family. And what happens is we end up on welfare. Now, the system makes it seem like it's there to help, but it further takes you into poverty because now you become dependent upon a system that only gives you enough for you to survive hand to mouth. And because you don't have the support system in place to help you to get back on track, you fall into that cycle of poverty where you're just living off mere subsistence, off just what is bare minimum. Now, because you need more, the child's father, the child's mother now thinks, what can I do to help? And they turn to illegal things because they know the streets. So they turn to the streets. And this is where prostitution, where gun violence, where robbery, where murders, where all these things come into play. And we're not focusing on the underlying things like family structure. We're not focusing on educating and empowering and enriching our young women so that they understand how their body works and to protect that body, not to just give it freely like that. And so this is just what this is how the cycle of poverty continues because we're not really paying attention to the little things. What is happening in the home? Does this person have a strong mother? Does this person have mother and father? Is this family, even though that they have mother and father, is it functioning as how it ought to function? Do they have the support? Is the nutrition right? Is the children going to school? It's everything that makes up this whole community system, right? So we have to focus on underlining things as opposed to the things that manifest itself.
I'll show you what was coming up for me is I'm sitting here and I'm like, so many of the things that plague certain areas plague almost all of the areas of our foundational of our being. And it's like every area it's a lot more focused on the other side of things versus on the preventative side, whether it's our health, and all of it has so many underlying conditions. Like we learned, during COVID, many of us, whether you had someone who had been sick before, or if you just maybe, okay, so me, I did a medical assistant course back in like 2000. So I learned about underlying conditions there. Although I never went into the field, you never know where you may have come across the term. All of us may be somewhere different, but it really became that the real awareness for what the term really meant was like screaming loud, very loud during the pandemic. So now we understand what our underlying conditions means, what the impacts are, and what it looks like. And it's like if people start to see that is it's in so many areas. It's in our neighborhoods. It's in how they deal with us with monies that they give us. Just like you said, instead of giving the money to now fix things, why are you not giving more money to the programs that are preventative to keep you? So now on that note, how exactly do you use the pageant to spread awareness about teenage pregnancy?
So the very first thing that I want everyone to know is that Brownsville has the highest teen birth rate in the entire New York City and the entire Brooklyn. Now, you would say it sounds like a very small portion. The statistic, according to the 2018 NYC Health Profiles Community Report, it says that 32.1 per every 1,000 teenage girl between the ages of 15 to 19 in Brownsville is having a baby. Now, 32.1 sounds small, right? 32.1, sorry, per 1,000 sounds small because it's less than 100, right? But let's think about it. I just told you that it's the small things that adds up over time to become big things. If 32 girls are not completing high school, if 32 girls are not able to get entry level jobs, if 32 girls do not have skills, if 32 girls don't know how to care for themselves, much less another individual, if they don't know how to properly prepare balanced meals so that those children brain could develop, so that they could function in school. If they don't know how to do these things, what is happening? What is happening to our community? So through the pageant, I want to not just bring awareness, but I want to teach these young women. We do sex education workshops. So we're teaching them not to have sex, but we're teaching them about their anatomy, how their reproductive system works, how STDs and STIs get transmitted, how they could access care in the event that something should happen, where they can go, who they can go to. Because in addition to having that high teenage pregnancy rate, there's a high mortality rate, infant mortality rate. The statistics also show that many of these girls, they don't even get prenatal care. They don't get proper nutrition. They don't. So this is why you have a lot of children being born with disabilities, with learning disabilities, with just developmental problems, because from the womb they haven't been nurtured. Another thing that we do through the pageant is we have financial literacy workshops. We're teaching them how to manage money. No matter how small your money is, learn how to manage it and invest it so that you can earn money, not make money, because there is a difference. Making money and earning money is two different things. And we want to teach them how to earn money, not make money. We want to emphasize leadership. So we have leadership seminars where we're teaching them the tenets, the components of being a great leader. We also have etiquette training where we're teaching them how to do basic table setting, how to show up when you go to a meeting, when you go to a dinner, when you're in a social setting. There are ways that you dress, there are things that you say and don't say, there are conversations that you do not bring into certain environments. We're teaching them, we're doing skills training. So this year, because we have other organizations coming in, Digital Girl Inc., they're going to teach the girls to code. So that's a skill that they'll be leaving the program with. We need more women in tech. We need more women in science. We need more women in engineering. So we're trying to impart these things, and we're going to have different workshops, of course, that will, build capacity. So the pageant, while they will have one night to showcase their physical beauty, that's not what the main focus is. The main focus is the workshops, and the different components that we have for the 6 months from February through to July. We're also trying to take our girls away on a retreat, because sometimes in exposure, in experience, they may be limited in what they've seen or understood, and we want to take them outside of their normal environment and take them into a space where they could really tap into themselves and acknowledge their thoughts, their feelings, and just dare to dream for something bigger than what they're accustomed to. We also pair our girls with mentors. We're currently looking for mentors. We need 25 mentors because, we're moving from 5 girls to now 25 girls. We have 25 girls who have signed up to be a part of this. And so we're excited and we're looking for mentors to pair with them, because we know how important having a mentor is to keeping you on a path of success. I'm not hearing you, Jamie. You're muted, I believe. Okay. So Jamie has just popped off. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I hope this session is really thought provoking for those of you who are watching, and it will move you into action, because awareness by itself is not
All
enough.
right.
Yes.
Hopefully
Welcome.
that fixed it. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes,
I
I
just
can
had to
hear
do
you.
a little refresh, little refresh. Um, oh shucks, that threw me off. That threw me completely off. Um, yes, thank you, Maylene. You got me. So the 25 ladies. So can the mentors, just asking for myself and for anyone else out there who may be interested, can they be remote?
Yes,
Oh,
yes. All we're asking is that you commit to 1 to 3 hours per week just to check in and make sure that because we who are in business, we all have a mentor and we know the importance of a mentor. So the mentor in some instances act as a accountability person for these young women. So if you're being an accountability partner, you can't not communicate. You have to communicate. And we are fully well aware that we do not need face-to-face interaction. It's important, but it's not the be it end it all. You can have great impact remote just as if you were in person. So it's just about being consistent and being able to communicate with the girls and yeah, making it work.
I love it. I love it. So the information on how to become a Destiny Helpers Outreach Mentor was just dropped in the chat, your email, and let us know. So I did hear that the program runs 6 months. I heard, I believe, February to June. Does it run one time a year or twice a year?
So it's a once per year because it requires so much. It's that 1 6 months every year, and like I said, it's from February through to July. On July 8th of 2023, we'll have the big pageant night where all these girls will be able to showcase themselves, their beauty, their talent, their poise, just how educated they are. They'll be modeling 3 different categories: sportwear, casual wear or streetwear, and evening wear. We look for local designers who are producing pieces in these categories to sponsor these categories. We look for beauticians, we look for estheticians, we look for makeup artists, we look for hairstylists because we offer everything free for the girls. So we look for everything from the community, from corporate, from our local elected officials to make sure that this happened on the night of July 8th. You will get to see a talent piece from all of these young ladies. They are talented, believe me. Brownsville and East New York, it's an oasis of talent. It's just a beautiful place that is culturally rich. The young ladies, they really bring it. Miss Teen Brownsville pageant is like a Miss America brought local to Brownsville. We dress ourselves very well. We step out on. Yes, it's beautiful. Maylene has been there. She has been a sponsor, and we thank her so much for her support with the girls. And it's just something that you don't want to miss. And most importantly, Jamie, we provide education based scholarships for our girls because,
Mhm.
like I said, education is very, very important. And we want to ensure that if our girls are going away to college, we can give them something. And if they're not going to college, we're still able to provide a laptop or books or clothing or whatever it is that they may need in order to have a successful education pathway.
I love it. I love that. I hear so much. So, community, what I definitely hear is that if you're looking to partner, if you're looking to give back to the community, if you're looking for volunteer, something to volunteer, place to volunteer. So Destiny's Helpers Outreach is looking for mois. They're looking for designers, clothing designers. You have an opportunity in so many different areas to support Destiny Helpers Outreach. You can give if you are a person that does not have time but has monetary resources. You can pour into the educational, into the scholarships,
Yes.
into, I'm sure a lot. I'm sure it takes a
Yes.
lot
And just to make it clear, because we're a 501c3, all monetary donations are tax deductible.
Amen. And not always, I'm sure that's always a draw. Actually, that leads me to share of someone that kind of is my example of a woman that if she had gone through a Destiny's Helpers outreach, this is what life could look like. And that is Miss Pinky Cole of Slutty Vegan, who has just opened one there in Brooklyn now.
Mhm.
But I came across her and met her in person here at an event she was giving here in Atlanta for business women, that was just like her giving nuggets out. And so much of what she shared has stuck, that she's gained, like, I'm a huge follower and I watch what she says, and she believes in, first of all, she's walking beauty, and she kind of gives that same similar light of what you were talking about of when she comes into the space. She's a college educated graduate, and she's also huge into philanthropy, and that is her key to success, is philanthropy and giving back. And that's how she's been able to grow to a point that she has a Steve Madden shoe and purse to go along with her freaking restaurant line, and is now here in Atlanta buying up real estate and now giving away business sessions, and just like a lot of her stuff. Oh, and she paid off like a bunch of college people's debt at the end of COVID. So like a lot of her growth and success in her business, baby, has been through being a philanthropist. And so she's like a prime example of what that could look like at that success, at that highest level of success factor. Um, and then it means that you're a well-rounded individual, and if you never
Yep.
make it there, it means exactly nothing. It just means that you are a heartfelt person that will have good days and bad days, but will be very well balanced and grounded and can actually have a happy life. So, yeah, we can come from the hood, we can come from places and spaces, and we can be happy. I don't, that's one of those concepts that I don't think a lot of us get either sometimes, that we can choose happiness without having these things, these shiny things, these nice things, the money things. We can be grateful, we can be happy if we choose to be. So, where can folks? I know that a lot of your contact information has been dropped in, but where's your favorite place for people to contact you through? Do you prefer email? Do you prefer them contacting you on your social media? What works best for you?
Email and Instagram are best. So my email, I could drop it in. It's info@destinyhelpersoutreach.org. And our Instagram is at destinyhelpersoutreach.org.
All right. And before we depart today, can you share two questions for you? Can you share, wrap up what you would like them to carry away with them today? And then can you answer for us, what exactly does Juneteenth mean to you?
Aww. So, um, what I want people to take away today, I want you to understand that it doesn't matter how small your work is, it is important, it is necessary, and it is needed, right? I want you to understand as well that where you are from, it doesn't define who you can be, who you are, and where you can end up. Essentially, what you have to do is put the work in. Believe in yourself, believe in your abilities. No matter how unique you may see yourself or how much you think you do not fit in, you do not need to fit in. You need to stand out. Be yourself, be a light, bring life to every space that you enter into. Show up as your best self. Never think that because it is a platform that is not huge or somewhere or someone that is not like an influencer or a social media guru or somebody who has a million followers, show up because you never know who is watching. You never know where your video may show up. You never know, and you entertain angels unaware. Never say no to any platform. Never say no to anything that could bring you exposure, that could bring you experience, because in life, when you climb the ladder of success, it is so much better. Delayed gratification is so much better than instant success, because as you take one step at a time and climb the ladder of success, understand that you are learning things that if you get to the top too quickly, you will quickly fall, because success could be had in an instant, but it is the maintaining of that success. Character needs to be built before you get to that large platform. Take your time, work on yourself, work on your business, set a solid foundation so that when you build upon that, anything that you put on a solid foundation will only grow and make your work more impactful, more successful. So that's what I want to leave with everyone, you know. And what else should I do?
I love that. And just share what the actual um just Juneteenth encompassed. Like, what exactly does it mean to you? The fact that we're here, the fact that it happened, any of it, whatever stands out for you. What exactly does Juneteenth mean for you?
Juneteenth, and this is why I work alongside Athenia, because I believe, and she says it best, we're here to educate, we're here to empower, and we're here to make sure that our people are so much better. The past is the past, and we have to leave it there. We cannot erase it, and we cannot dwell on it. But what we can do is learn from it, remove the shackles of mental slavery, and start to really work together as a people. I've seen it made possible through Juneteenth. We as a people have come together despite our differences, despite where we're from, despite our cultural beliefs or religious beliefs, everything that we come with as individuals, we have laid it all aside and we are working together to create a successful thing that is impacting so many lives. We're creating opportunities for businesses to become known. We are creating atmospheres where people could feel good about who they are, their identity. And that's what I love about Juneteenth. It makes us all understand that no matter the differences, at the end of the day, we're all human and we bleed the same blood. And I love that. It embodies unity, it embodies cultural vibrance, it embodies everything that the entire ecosystem, if we could all work like this all the time and not just for Juneteenth, like we would be so much better as a people and as a nation and as a world, right? So let's start the change. It starts with me, it starts with you. Be the change that you want to see.
Amen. And I would add on a dollop of healing on top of that, that all of that allows for the healing, that acknowledging that it was the past and letting it go allows us to heal so that we can truly operate in the energy and in the light of what Black Wall Street actually was. Thank you for being with us today, Trudy. I look forward to seeing you in our meetings, getting ready for 2023, and I can't wait to see you in June.
Yes. Thank
I will
you so
see
much.
you behind the scenes. I do have two things I would love to talk with you about.
Okay.
All right. All right. See you soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone, for being with us today. That was truly a conversation that made my soul happy. It always makes me happy to speak about how we can prevent things in our community, how we can heal our community, and grow and expand the elevation of our community. So, thank you for being here with us today. Stay tuned for who our guest for next week will be. And Thanks for being here with us today. See you next week.
The last call, thinking that I know you're not sure. Make a long stop, ready or not. I see you, but I need to know more. What you wanna do? Because I know we didn't dance, but I saw you watching on the dance floor. Maybe at the exit door, and maybe we could talk some more. Oh, yeah. You stand beside me. Oh, no. You're watching me, and you feel it.
Greetings. Good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly Lunch and Learn.
In terms of business, if you have a dream, go for it. Pursue it. Work hard at it, because with anything that you want to do, it's gonna come hard work. You know, if you don't put the hard work, if you don't put the time into it, it's not gonna flourish the way you want to.
Maybe advice for anybody who's looking to start a business, like just do it. Start off small and then kind of expand. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but like once you're in it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this long time ago?
Love you. Tell yourself, I love me too. I love you, Amina. Love you. When you open your heart and your mind, you're opening up to your blessing.
Yeah.